Okay.
All right.
We'll knock it out.
Here we go.
All right.
Hi, everybody. This is Trevis at Thrive Fitness, back with our episode 51 of Thrive TV question and answer session. How are you today?
Pretty well.
Are you?
Yeah, not really a whole lot going on this morning yet. So, yeah, not really a whole lot to say about this morning.
Ease into the day.
Yeah, for the most part.
It's nice and sunny outside.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, I think it's been a lot sunnier than most people thought it was supposed to have been the last couple of days, really.
Yeah, so that's good.
It's been good.
We like sunshine.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we got 3 questions today, so we're going to get started.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
All right. The first one is from Jan. Thank you, Jan, for sending it in. How are carbs digested?
Well, Miss Nutritionist.
Jerry, these questions are directed towards you.
They're directed towards me. So whenever one comes up that someone else can explain better, I always go to the expert.
Okay, begin.
Okay, Jan, good question. How are carbs digested? Well, food is digested in your intestinal tract. Starts in your mouth, goes into your stomach, goes into your intestines, and then we all know where it comes out from there. Trevis, would you like to tell us what goes in between?
No, Jerry, that's not fair.
Why?
Come on. All right, so when I saw this question, the first thing that comes to my mind is...
you want to have more of an understanding of how it affects your body.
Okay, so, all right,
I'm
so you need to... yeah, I would hope so. So when I looked at this, my mind automatically splits carbs out into the 2 components of simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. And they are definitely digested, not digested, but they respond differently in your body. So carbs, surprisingly, start digestion in your mouth with your saliva. Mm-hmm. So that's where, like, people think that I can just take a taste of a piece of candy and it's not going to...
And that's it. Yeah.
It's not... No, because it starts digesting in your mouth. So you want to make, a good thing to do is make sure that you chew your food very well, because you want to give the amylase, which is in your saliva, time to start working on the carbohydrates and things. So anyway, simple carbohydrates are shorter chains of simple sugars strung together. So a simple carbohydrate would be, for example, candy, regular, a white potato, white rice. Those are simple carbohydrates.
Right. So basically, but anything that you see in the nutrition facts that says sugar, how many sugars it has in it, that's simple.
Right.
Any type of fructose, high fructose corn syrup, or anything along those lines,
are all
simple.
Very simple carbohydrates. And they call them simple because of the way they're formed. And the sugars, they're monosaccharides or disaccharides strung together. Every carbohydrate breaks down into a monosaccharide because that's how a monosaccharide gets into your bloodstream very quickly and causes your blood sugar to spike rapidly. It'll go up, like here it's starting out. So you eat a simple carbohydrate, your blood sugar is going to turn and go really high, and then it's going to fall back down. And a complex carbohydrate is a polysaccharide, so it means that it's got several different...
many.
Right, strung together. So it is slower getting into your system once it starts to be digested.
Because it has to break it down.
It takes longer to break that down into that monosaccharide.
Right, whereas when you ingest a monosaccharide, it is what it is. So it's just...
it doesn't have to be broken down, right? So complex carbohydrate, for example, are steel-cut oats. Help me out here. Complex carbohydrates.
Whole grain and whole wheats
beans
are sometimes, it depends on what kind of bread it is or whatever.
Right.
Whole grains, whole wheats,
legumes
beans,
are complex carbohydrates, which are beans.
Anything fibrous, high in fiber. Right.
So those take longer to get into your system. So your blood sugar's here, and you eat a complex carbohydrate. It starts its incline going up, and it get near as high as it does with a simple, and then it's going to gradually turn and slowly come back down. So that's,
so it's not like a big mountain peak. It's
right.
It's
like a slow
hill.
Incline. It's like a hill and not
Yeah.
a mountain. That's very good. Very good. So
I've been working on my analogies.
have you?
Yeah.
So that's the key difference between how carbohydrates are digested. Not all carbohydrates are the same. Ultimately, they all end up as the same in your body, but it's how fast they get in and how slow they get in that makes a difference. So for optimal health and body composition and all the things that you're in control of your blood sugar, you need to focus on complex carbohydrates in your diet rather than the simple, quick ones that are going to generally, they leave you irritable, they leave you hungry, they make you crave more. Your body, once it drops that blood sugar rapidly, then it wants,
and they make you tired.
Right, and they make you tired, and then they make you want more of that. So that's why you need to stick with complex.
I think it's a good question because I think a lot of people don't completely understand that. Why sugars are, cause certain things and cause you to be tired and things along those lines. And when you get to lunchtime, why you get tired, and why, so on and so forth. So I think that's a good question in understanding, maybe how you can change your lunch or your breakfast in order to get more out of it. Sorry, Toledo.
Might be someone.
If you're calling your question in Toledo.
Sorry.
End. Thank you.
Okay, so anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's a good answer, and I think it's a good question because, like I said, a lot of people just understanding how complex and simple carbohydrates are digested a little differently, or how they affect your body differently.
Right. So
I think you did a good job of that.
The only other thing that one of the things that I recommend to the nutrition clients is anytime you can slow down how fast a carbohydrate gets into your bloodstream, the better it is for you. So always focus on putting your carbs with fiber. So, for example, if you want to eat a sweet potato, eat the skin of the sweet potato along with that. Even though there's fiber already in the sweet potato, you just want to slow that
process down.
Or always attach your carbohydrate to a protein. Protein will do the same thing. So if you want to eat, red potatoes, then eat them with a piece of lean protein.
Yeah.
So, and then that's
gonna
slow that down. So anyway, good question.
Nice.
Dan. All right, question number 2. We're going to skip over because we're going to wedge this exercise question between the two nutrition questions.
Okay.
So knee issues seem to be a common complaint of people in general when they're trying to do exercise or running or anything like that. This just seems like knee pain comes up for everyone.
Yeah.
So how can you care for your knees over time so that you don't wind up with a chronic knee problem?
Knee issue. So I think a lot of people have chronic knee pain, and I think it's important to understand that a lot of chronic knee pain, or just knee pain, acute knee pain, or whatever it is not a structural issue. And I'm glad we're talking about this because this morning we were talking to one of our athletes. She was having knee pain while she was running, and she had a knee sleeve on today because of it. So where a lot of knee pain comes from is from the muscles that help move your knee and stabilize your knee. Now that's your quad muscles, your hamstring muscles, and the muscles on your lower leg, your gastrocnemius soleus, or your calf muscles, and then your anterior tibialis, which is this one up in front where a lot of people have shin issues or shin splints or whatever you want to call them. So that's where a lot of knee pain comes from. Tugging on your patella or just tugging on the tendons or attachments around it. It's not necessarily where the pain is where the pain is coming from. It's not the pain source or the pain site, it's the source. So where is it coming from? So if you're having pain in your patella tendon, which is right here at the bottom of your knee, which is where a lot of people have knee pain, then you want to look below it or above it to see if there's any tender spots, okay? And what I mean by that is like up into your quad, if you push on your quad, on the outside, on the inside, right in the middle, or in your anterior tibialis, this area of your shin, if you push on it and it's really tender, then there's a good chance that the pain from in your patella tendon is coming from one of those sites, because those sites are tight and stiff, and so it's tugging on that patella tendon. So one of the easiest things that you can do is massage all of the areas around your knee on a regular basis every day. You can use a lacrosse ball, tennis ball, golf ball, any kind of ball. The softer it is, the less painful it's going to be, but also probably the less effective it's going to be. That's a good place to start, a tennis ball, if you've never done it before, but you want to eventually move up to something harder so that it'll get deeper into your muscle. So what you do is lay on the ground, put the ball underneath of a spot on your leg, and roll around on the spot. It sounds goofy, but what it'll do is loosen up that area. You can also you can also use a foam roller to do the same thing. So foam roll the tops of your legs, your quads, foam roll your calves, and also you can foam roll your anterior tibialis to loosen that area up. So that's always going to be the best thing to do. You can stretch, it won't be as effective. Loosening up the areas around your knee. Whenever those areas get stiff is when knee pain typically happens. And most knee pain is not structural. It's simply that you have stiffness in everything around it that's helping stabilize it and move it. Okay. So, does that make sense? I said that pretty fast.
You did. Yeah, it makes sense. So I'm thinking, what just quickly, a few pieces of advice for those who work out at home. What can they focus on when they're doing their exercises so that they don't injure the knee? I know you don't want your knee to go over your foot when you're squatting. Just quickly, those kind of quick little tips.
Right. So a lot of people are scared of squat or squat variations. Squats tend to hurt people's knees. Lunge variations, single leg squat variations, things like that. Form is always important. And when you talk about form, you're talking about how is your knee moving and where is it relative to the rest of your body, typically, most importantly, your foot. So you don't want your knee to go too far over in front. You don't want your knee to go in front of your toe a lot when you squat. What that does is puts a lot of pressure on your patella tendon, this thing in front, and that's where most people have knee pain when they squat. The same thing with single leg variations. The other thing that you don't want is your knee to go in and out. So a lot of times when people squat and they push back up, their knees collapse in as they push up. That's called valgus. Their knees go inwards as they push up. Now that's another issue in itself. That means your hip stabilizers are not strong enough to keep your knees from moving. However, you can concentrate on keeping your knees over your toes, out over your toes as you push up or down. So where is your knee relative to your toe is typically the best way to look at it, and always making sure that they're lined up with your toes when you're going up and down, and that they're not in front of your toes as you are going up and down as well.
Okay, good.
So does that make sense?
That's good. Good. Thanks for that. Okay, on to question number 3. What are your views or opinions on doing a detox cleanse? That's from Hillary. Thank you, Hillary.
Another good question. Let's see. So this could be a long, drawn-out answer, so I'm going to make it as brief as possible. Detox cleanses, a lot of people do them. So people do them typically for 2 reasons. Number 1 is the cleanse part, and number 2 is weight loss, right? For both, so I'll hit the cleanse part first. I've never read anything that says that a detox actually does much to cleanse you. When I say cleanse, when I think cleanse, I think free radicals, right? So you're trying to get free radicals out of your body. And what free radicals are things in your body that cause inflammation. And chronic inflammation can cause chronic pain or cancer and other things. Free radicals are basically what cause most of the pain and inflammation and colds and things like that in your body. So when I think cleanse, I think cleansing out the free radicals or trying to get rid of free radicals. I've never read anything that says that it can do that. A cleanse or a detox can do that on any significant level, right? As far as weight loss goes, yes, absolutely, you will lose weight if you do a cleanse because you're not eating anything.
Well, and what kind of weight? What kind of weight
water,
is it? Okay,
water.
It's water. Right.
The hard thing to understand is when you lose, initially when you start any type of nutritional change, diet, whatever you want to call it, you're going to lose weight quick in the first 2 weeks. The hard thing to understand is that weight is going to be water.
Yeah.
It's just going to be water. Most of it is just going to be water. Most people lose 5 pounds in their first week of dieting.
Because it's water.
But it's water. Yeah. So it's the same thing with the cleanse. It's going to be all water. Most cleanses are about 2 weeks or so. You lose 8 pounds, which is awesome. As soon as you go off of it, you put it right back on.
Yeah,
because
when you go back
your body's just going to start retaining water again. What do you think about that?
I agree with that. I think if you're doing it for weight loss, you're just wasting your time. What I was reading up about these is that a lot of them are juice based.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of sugar in.
Right, because you're juicing fruits.
You're juice, yeah. So and they're it's very time consuming and it's not something that the benefit is not going to outweigh the time and energy and the feeling. I mean, one of the side effects of doing a cleanse or a detox is that you're fatigued, you're tired, you're dizzy, because you are not eating food. You're juicing everything, and it's very expensive because if you're not going to juice it yourself, then you have to buy it. And they say that they can get into some money.
No, sure.
So the better thing to do is to eat. You can eat foods that are cleansing. Our bodies have the natural ability to cleanse and detoxify themselves. Yeah. That's what your kidneys do. And that's what your liver does and all of that. So if you are eating a wide range of fruits, vegetables and fruits, and eating nutrient-dense food and not, drinking a bunch of alcohol and not drinking enough water and those kinds of things, then your body has that capability to do it
anyway.
So there's vegetables that they know are cleansing or detoxifying. Asparagus is one of them. Spinach, avocados, those kinds of foods. So I'm always a big believer. Do it more natural. So eat better. Limit your exposure to alcohol because that's a toxin. Electromagnetic fields are toxins that can accumulate in your body. So limit your exposure to that, and then do it more naturally. And I think that
on a regular basis,
and kind of live that way, and let your body do what it can do and what it was meant to do. Yeah. Rather than forcing all that sugary juice or whatever on and going through all that bad feeling. I was reading Ryan Andrews from Precision Nutrition. Him and his wife, for research, did a cleanse. Oh yeah. They both wound up in the emergency room after it was over. Yikes! And they only did a 3-day.
Yikes!
And he said that it was $180
for the cleanse.
For the cleanse, man. And but he wanted to do it for the research part. But he was just like, no thanks. It wasn't what it was cracked up to be. Yeah. So I think
that's
can
a good
just
question
because
a lot of people do it, and I think that they're very popular right now.
Celebrities do them,
like crazy.
All the time. So, and the weight loss is temporary. It is.
It is if you go back automatically. You go back to the way you used to eat, which is what everyone does. Now, if you do a cleanse because you're going into a new nutrition lifestyle, then that's a different story.
That's a different story.
However,
if you're just doing it
if you're doing it to lose weight, you're going to lose weight, but then you're going to put it right back on. Most likely.
Most likely. Right. So so just do it more natural. I was looking here to see if there's anything else I wanted to add to that, but I think you covered it pretty well. So
cool. Yeah, I think that's a good question. Those were all good questions.
All right. So that's it. Okay. That's all we have today. So thanks everyone for sending in questions. We'll be taking any more that you have, so you can send them to me at Treves, TREVES, at thriveforstrength.com or at the Thrive Pack. And any announcements?
No announcements. No. Not as far as I can think of right now.
All right. Good job. Thanks, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Try again.